I think I've done this before, but I've said it time and time again that I think they should have done a season 6 and 7 of the originals instead of Legacies. There was no point for Hope to be at the school anymore. I mean, seriously, there really wasn't a point of her being at the school. The only reason that she was one, to get friends, two, to control her power, and three, to protect herself from the Michelson name. But due to the fact that Klaus was gone and most of the enemies were gone, there really wasn't a threat in Legacies as much. So I don't think that the show really was that great and stuff. It probably would have been better if there was a season 6 and 7. Now, for the plot of season 6, I personally think it could be like the death of all witches, or that could be season 7. Season 6 could be Hope finally triggers her vampire side and tries to unite the werewolves, witches, and vampires together in New Orleans, potentially and possibility of turning off her humanity, and then the Michelsons have to get involved in stuff. I just think that with the Michelson writing, saying, oh, they weren't around because they were trying to gather Klaus Michelson's ashes, was just lazy-ass writing. I also think that the story would have been better if it was season 6 and 7, passing the torch off to Hope and the rest of the Michelsons. It would have been nice to see how that story would have played out. Maybe we get to see more of Freya and Hope and stuff, and we get to see more Rebecca and Hope and the rest of them being in the show. Maybe we get to see Davina in the show more. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts, guys. But personally, I think that the way that the show was in Legacies wasn't my favorite thing. I wish that they had done it differently. And honestly, I wish that they had done it completely differently and did a season 6 and 7 of the show instead. And I would have loved to see more of the Michelsons, but we didn't get that. And unfortunately, we have to live with the consequences and what the show was and stuff. And potentially there's another show coming out, but I don't really care for that either. And, it is what it is. And, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Now, there's also rumors going around that Danielle Rose Russell may play Bonnie Bennett in the new reboot of the show and stuff, which would be a downgrade in my opinion. Who would ever want to be Bonnie Bennett? I'd rather be Hope Michelson, the Tribrid. But that's neither here or there. The point of this is that simply there should have been a season 6 and 7 of the originals, and there shouldn't have been Legacies. Legacies should have never existed. Maybe the other characters get involved and they hire them to be like side characters coming in, Rick or Lizzie and Josie coming into the show to try to get help from Hope and the rest of her family. But ultimately, I just see that the show should have been a season 6 and 7 and no Legacy should have existed. But let me know your thoughts, guys.